What's going on, everybody? My name is Austin Prevost, and I'm your host of the PV National podcast. We have got a awesome episode coming up for you. Very, very long overdue. I want you guys to welcome my friend and one of our top roofing partners here in Dallas-Fort Worth in the state of Texas, Brett Sasser, the founder of Lonestar Exterior. Super excited to have you in, man. Thanks for coming in.
Yes,
This has been long overdue, I feel like, but super excited to get into it. So,
Me too.
kind of how we start every episode is giving some sort of like small bio, like into you and you know where you were born, kind of where you came from, some of the things that you were like maybe into or hobbies prior to getting into this, insurance restoration racket, which we're certainly going to get into today. Tell us about where you're from, kind of siblings, all that good stuff, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah. So I was born in Arlington, moved to Corinth when I was, I think, like 2 years old. That's kind of where we've rooted our family the whole time, basically.
Yeah.
So I went to like Dallas High School growing up, graduated 2015. I have three little brothers. One of them is a partner in the roofing company.
Yep.
It's kind of a family-run business. It's really cool. My mom is kind of like our office manager, handles production, stuff like that. And then my dad and two younger brothers also sell roofs with us here and there. And then do some project managing on the side and stuff like that too.
Love that.
So yeah, man, it's real fun. And then I have three kids. I got a 6 and a 4-year-old boy, and then a 9-month-old little girl.
Yeah.
And I'm done, man. At the
That's
I'm
it.
done. I'm happy. Yeah.
There you go.
Got what I wanted.
You got your hands full.
Yes, sir.
That's right, man. So growing up in that area, tell me a little bit about how it was growing up. So how many siblings total, like in the family, like including you?
There's 4 of us.
Just
yeah.
four
I'm
boys,
oldest,
right?
Yeah.
Oldest of 4. Okay, so you definitely kind of, because I'm the older brother as well, and so it's kind of interesting how that works. Like we innately kind of take that leadership role from the beginning.
For sure.
Was it a ton of fun growing up with 4 brothers?
It was a blast. We get to go, because we grew up in that age too where we can go outside, and we spoke on this before. You can go outside and like ride your bike to Walmart down the road or whatever, like miles down the road, ride to Sonic.
Sonic was the move, bro.
Dude,
like back in the day,
after
you just
middle
go
school.
chill on the little things outside. You're like vibing with the boys, and you're like 10. You're like, "What's up?
Yeah.
I just drove here."
Yeah, you don't have to worry about nothing, man. You just get out there, have fun, and we'd go out and play till sunset, play football with the boys down the road. And
So fun.
My mom would literally go outside 3 blocks away, and she's the loudest whistle in the world if you've never heard it. She does that like
that thing was
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And we knew like if it was getting towards dark and we were waiting a little bit too long to get home,
You hear the whistle.
you hear the whistle, and we'd zoom on our bikes home, bro.
That's so funny, man. It's like our rule, like in where we grew up, was whenever the light on the the automatic light poles came on, like that was our indicator to get home. So can really relate with that. Like growing up in Texas, back at that time, especially in McKinney was a lot smaller than it is now, and I'm sure same thing for where you grew up, man. It was just an opportunity. I feel like we were kind of that last in DFW Metroplex, kind of that last generation that really got to have that awesome like childhood experience, going outside, not worrying about all the other stuff that's going on in the world. But
crazy nowadays.
yeah, it's wild. So curious. I don't think I've ever asked you this question. So before you kind of got into roofing, like in your high school days and like after high school, have you kind of always had like an entrepreneurial spirit, or did you kind of go into this? Tell me a little bit about that transition. Like after high school, did you do anything other? What was your kind of prior to roofing, and then give us a little bit of like a transition into what you were doing and then how you got into doing what you're doing now.
Okay, so my dad was always in sales. He was in mortgages, and then the crash happened in 2008. I think he went to real estate after that. He was in construction, roofing. He actually was, and I think in like 2012 he started roofing. And growing up, I was always big into like cars and trucks and stuff, and like I just always kind of.
If you just follow Brett on social media, that's absolutely no shock.
Yeah, dude. So I was always big into cars and trucks, and like I was just thinking, like, how can like 15-year-old me go get this brand new Denali 2500 Platinum F250? And I was like, man, I guess I got to get into sales, And we had good years and bad years, like a lot of sales reps do. And the good years were so good, like my dad would just see a truck on the side of the road and stop and
go buy it.
Hey, like I want that. There was a store. We were driving by a Porsche one day, and he's like, let's go get that. And I'm like, you want a Porsche? And he's like, yeah, if it's under this amount. And he's like, go check it. And I walk up, and sure as shit, it was under that amount. And he bought it that same day.
That's nuts.
And so like that, I don't know, man, that almost kind of drove like me really getting into sales and stuff, like the love for cars and trucks and like that, just the want to have those nice things,
Sure.
And nowadays, like they're cool to have, but like they don't really mean much, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot as you grow, especially as you grow older.
The
You
family
really,
and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, I got a whole team relying on us and stuff, and like kids and investments to make and all that stuff. So like they don't mean that much anymore, but they're still cool. But that's almost kind of what drove me into that sales life, right? So. At 16, I started doing repairs and stuff actually with my dad on the weekends.
like for roofing repairs. Oh, so this is like deep in your blood. Deep, yeah. Okay, got you.
We were involved in some products back in the day, like repair products and stuff like that. And so, I think I was like 15. He dropped me off to my first one, and he was like, "Go." Just dropped you off? Yeah. Well, he told me how to do it and stuff, and show me videos and stuff. So like I knew how to do the repair. But yeah, he dropped me off, and he's like, "I'll be back in a couple hours. You know, you just had lunch. You're good for a couple hours. Here's your water. Go." You know. And I think he was like, man, $250 for this repair. And I'm like, man, let's go.
Yeah, you're like, what? Hey.
I was pumped. And so started doing repairs at 15, 16. When I started being able to drive, I would take Zach with me sometimes too, like in my older high school days.
What's the delta between y'all? Like what the age
It's like 2.5 years.
Okay, got it.
Most of the year, it's like a 3-year gap, but it's truly like 2.5 years.
Gotcha. Same with me and my brother. We're 19 months apart.
Yeah. But, man, so he started going along with me. I worked at Chick-fil-A when I was 16, like after school and stuff, because like my parents always said you got to work or go to school. But, you know, at that age, you kind of had to do both, you know? So worked at Chick-fil-A. At 17, I went to the Gaylord Texans, started valeting cars, which was cool.
Yeah.
That was super cool. I got to drive all those expensive vehicles and stuff. So that kind of just fueled it even more.
You fueled that fire a little bit?
Yeah, man. I didn't really want to know what I wanted to do after high school, too. So I kind of just had this, like, week plan of, like, all right, some type of business degree, whatever. Like, I know I want to own a business someday, and I didn't really know what to do. So I was going to go to NCTC. I had great grades. You know, I didn't really try super hard in school, but I always had like high B's and A's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if we got C's, we got in trouble. Couldn't play sports. So you had to try hard enough to like get the good grades.
Yeah.
So, man, I was going to go to NCTC for 2 years and then go to UNT or Arkansas with one of my buddies or something and get a business degree. And I thought I had everything I needed. They were like, yeah, you can come in like a week before and pick your classes and stuff and blah, blah, blah. So I did that. And they're like, yeah, you didn't take this certain test, or I didn't take the ACT and the SAT or something like that.
Yeah.
And so like, you got to take this placement test. I'm like, all right, cool. When can I do it? And they said, the next one's in 2 weeks, but class starts in a week. They said, come back in the spring.
So nope.
Yeah. So I was like, shit. Okay, cool. I guess I'll keep valeting cars or something. And I went home and told my parents, and they were like, yeah, whatever. I mean, that sucks, but you're going to school, right? And, it got to the point where it was like, hey, you're not really doing like a career right now and you need to do something. You're not going to school. Like you need to do a big boy job, right? Like you can't valet cars a couple hours a week.
Yep.
And my dad mentioned roofing, and I don't know, there's that stigma with working with your parents and stuff. And like my parents are cool as hell. You've met them. Like they're so cool and I love them to death. But
at the time though, at 18, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, sure. It's like
you want to kind of carve your own path a little bit.
Getting that freedom and stuff. And you start kind of butting heads with them when you're 18 and like trying to get out and stuff. But so I went to work with a different roofing company out in Colleyville, learn how to door knock and stuff like that. Then after a couple months, I was like, man, this company's, they were fine. They didn't do anything wrong. They were fine. But I was like, why am I not just working with my dad? Like, come on. And so I went back and told my dad, I was like, hey, I'm going to close out these last couple jobs with them. And I learned how to door knock now, so that's cool.
We can go get some leads now, baby.
Like, let's go do it. And so I went and worked with him, and it was kind of over from there.
That's
got
awesome,
a little taste of that sales money, that roofing commission checks.
Yeah, boy, that's some dopamine in there.
Dude, I said, school, what the hell?
Yeah, no, we good on that.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's awesome. So that's a cool story, bro. Like, you know, and I bet that was like kind of a unique experience, just to kind of be able to see your dad just like, oh, I want that, I'm gonna go get it, right? Like the freedom that comes with that, and that's not just like on material things. That's on everything, like experiences, taking care of family, like all of it. It's not just material things. And I've gotten to know you guys well enough to know that like that's not what you guys are about. Like, are they fun, and is it a good recruiting tool? Absolutely.
They
but
play a part, but it's not a big thing.
That's not a big thing, right? It plays a part in it to just show what the opportunities are in the roofing business, right? So, man, let's jump into Lonestar Exterior. Cool. So tell us a little bit about, give me just like how many markets you guys serve and where you guys, tell the audience, like where you guys service Texas. And then I guess I see the southern part of Oklahoma. Yeah. And then we'll just kind of get into some of like the stuff that you filled out before. We'll get a little bit more in detail. But tell us a little about just general, like, well, first of all, tell us how long has Lonestar been in business? Mm-hmm. Like that LLC. And what areas you guys serve and kind of how big your company is, and maybe just a little bit of goals into 2026.
Sure.
Sorry, that was like long-winded twice, but
no, it's all good. So to piggyback on that first story a little bit into the roofing, so you get a little idea of as to why I was working with my dad and now I'm not, right?
Right.
So my dad in 2017, I don't know if you remember or not, but everywhere in DFW got hit. It was
massive.
Arlington, Fort Worth, Grand Prairie got blasted. We were working that storm. And then like Allen, Frisco, McKinney got blasted, and then my hometown got absolutely tore up. And so we were just inundated with leads. It was crazy. And I think between me and my dad, and Zach was still in high school, but he sold a couple roofs. I think we did like 300-400 roofs that year.
That's insane.
And at that point, my dad had just taught me how to do sales, right? And I signed the contract and I kind of did customer relations and stuff like that, but I wasn't building, coordinating, scheduling, supplementing, any of that stuff, right?
Just selling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so my dad, at the time, we just got inundated so fast that we didn't have a back office. We didn't have anything. It was just me and him, really. And so he was doing everything, start to finish. Like he was ordering materials, supplementing.
Jobs, bro.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so, yeah, that's stressful as hell, right?
I can't even imagine that, honestly.
Hell, not going to do it. So he unfortunately had a heart attack, but he was all good, right? But he had a heart attack at that point, and that was right when I was like, man, I really want to grow this thing. Like I have all this juice from like this year. Like I want this. Like I want 10 guys doing this with me.
Yep.
And he's like, I just don't care to do that anymore. The stress got to me. Like I don't want any more people coming in and doing that, you know? And so he's very supportive. My parents have always been super supportive, and they're very much, kind of my whole family is very much not so much in the sense of how can you help me, how can I help you, right? So there's no jealousy or anything like that. So he was like, man,
that's a blessing to have, bro, because like that particular scenario, and I've heard it in the roofing business plenty of times, could have gone. It could have gone the complete opposite direction, right? Yeah. And so that's a blessing.
I would have never started the company if there was any animosity, right? But he was like, "Go, you know, like I'll root you on, you know, like I'll set you up with my insurance person and stuff, and I'll point you in the right direction. Like go do your own thing."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Nah, I'm good for a little bit." And then I was getting my truck serviced, and a kid from high school came up and asked me if he could work for me, and I said, "Well, shit, I guess it's time." So I called my dad. I was like, hey, if you're still cool with it, like, honestly, if you're still cool with it, I'd love to start my own. And he said, go ahead, cool. So it was like 2018. I think May 5th, 2018 was Lone Star's inception date, like when we finally got, you know, like the approval for the LLC and the DBA and all that stuff from the state.
Yeah.
So we started in 2018. I quickly had, I think, 2 reps very quickly that were friends. Those 2 reps are still with me to this day, which is super cool.
That's amazing. 8 years later to still have reps with you, that's a testament to you guys and what you're doing.
Our retention rate's really good. I mean, obviously you're going to have some guys come in and, you're going to have guys come in and they're not going to, it's just not for them. Like the sales life, you know, and that's okay.
Well, especially this type of sales life. Like corporate sales life is not even remotely close to like 1099 door knocking sales life. Like corporate sales life is like you get some sort of base salary, you know, you get paid off of like quarterly bonuses and like all that stuff. Way more cush, more like, it's just a lot more cush, right? Versus a 1099 contracted position, 100% commission. I was just talking to a roofing company today that we're about to onboard, and he was just kind of telling me where they were at. He's like, yeah, I'm just at a point now where like, I don't let anyone in unless I can really, really, really feel that they actually want it. Because no one's going to be successful in a sales role in roofing unless you genuinely want it. Like that want it has to be there. You guys can teach the skills. You guys can teach what a ACV policy is, an RC. You can pour into people, but you can't make them want it, right? That's something you can't do.
I can't want it for you more than you want it for you. And that's a lot of the people. So like we don't have, like I said, we don't have a really high turnover rate or anything like that, but we have guys that come in and just, they can't kick it, right? And that's okay.
That is what it is.
Just move on to their next. But our retention rate's really great. We have 2 guys that have been here for 8 years, 2 or 3 guys that have been here for 4 or 5 years. And then we've really only lost, 2 or 3 seasoned reps that came on and just went elsewhere for whatever reasons.
It's just nature of the beast.
Other companies, stuff like
nature
that.
of the beast, right?
But
so let's jump back in really quickly. Let's talk about how many markets you guys serve. Where are you guys located in Texas and parts of Oklahoma? Where are you guys at?
So we started in Denton. We still have like a business center office there or whatever. So, but our main office is in Northlake. It's a brick and mortar. I think we're the only brick and mortar in Northlake, which is really cool. So if that area gets
I've been. The place is sweet. Yeah, it's a badass office.
So we should have a pretty good footholding there. So we're in Northlake. That's our main area. I don't like to go to a market unless we have somebody there that we trust and can rely on to service our customers. Like a lot of guys storm chase and, they go to a market and kill it for 5 months and then they leave and they get a leak in 5 months, a year, and they can't service it.
Right.
So that's where you hear all the animosity towards like, excuse me, roofers and storm chasers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't go to a market unless I have somebody that's there that can
foothold.
service it, right?
Yeah,
So our first one was College Station. We expanded with one of my longest tenured sales reps, Cameron. He's actually second longest tenured, almost 8 years. He has a lot of foothold in Southern Oklahoma. So we went and got licensed there. And then we are just now kind of getting into like Austin, Tyler, Lubbock, stuff like that.
Sure.
And then Houston.
Those are great markets, man. Like we've expanded to kind of the West Texas area. Shout out Amarillo. Just got smoked. They just got blasted last night. So looking forward to doing some work there. But Amarillo, that whole area, like Lubbock. So let's just DFW, Tyler, Houston, Southern Oklahoma, College Station, Austin, Lubbock is kind of where you guys are at right now.
Yeah.
You guys got a team of about a 20, right?
Yeah, a little bit over 20. We got up to 30, had to cut some bad apples out,
Sure.
Lost a couple of the new guys, stuff like that. So we're somewhere right above 20 right now. Like I was telling you, we just added 2 new people yesterday, 2 or 3 new people last week. So right now we're in that recruitment heavy mode.
Sure.
So we're pretty picky about who we hire. So we've had quite a few interviews, and I think we've only hired like 4 or 5 of them. So
yeah, that's good.
A little bit over 20 now.
Yeah, we say all the time here: hire slow, fire fast. Especially in y'all's spot. Like us, we don't have like any 1099 people, right? So it's all W-2, like installers and production, and we have we're a lot more office heavy than you guys are, right? But I still think the concept applies, especially in y'all's business, right? Because when you're pouring into somebody from a 1099 perspective, they're not a W-2 employee. You can't make them be there. You can't make them do this. You can't make them do that. And so when you're pouring into somebody, you want to make sure that it's somebody that's really going to be really kind of taking in the information and not going to be a waste of resources. So the qualifying process, I saw Zach post the other day about you guys are starting to really stack. You guys have built your core values, and you guys are starting to stack your candidates against those core values.
For sure.
It's a major game changer,
It is,
right? We have a very stringent process on how we hire, and I think the more of that happens, especially in y'all space, the better that it's going to be, because you only want reps in there that want to be there, that are a core value fit. Because then you can, once those 2 things are there and they're capable of doing the role, now it's just about developing them, making an absolute
multiplication at that point. Yeah.
Exactly.
We give obviously people are going to make mistakes, right? So
100%.
Like they misorder a shingle or something like that. It's not a big deal, right?
Right.
We'll learn from it, but you get one moral strike with Lonestar.
Same.
If you go out and you lie to a homeowner, you're doing things fraudulently, whatever the case may be, you're lying, you're stealing. Cross out one of your teammates, like go against them or whatever, like one moral strike. I don't care if you're $2 million a year guy, you're gone. It's just, it doesn't line up, and cancer spread fast.
1,000%.
So.
Yeah, we have the same, that's funny. We have the same thing. So our core values back here, if anyone really, as far as the serve and the move with character and integrity, right? And then obviously being a team player, all those things apply of what you said. So that's, I think, we talk about culture here, and we're going to jump into that. And I think that is probably one of the biggest things, in my opinion, on how to keep a non-cancerous culture is even the guy that is a $2 million producer, how you handle that guy whenever he does stuff wrong is now on display for everybody to see. And how you handle that situation is going to determine what your team thinks and believes about you as a leader, right?
Do they respect you at the end of the day? Yeah.
Exactly. Or they don't. And if you let stuff slide because there's money coming in the door, then they know the person you are, right? Can't do it. So let's talk about this, right? So what is with this on strategy and moat, right? Let's talk about Lone Stars without getting too much into actual detail, right? But what is the overall general core strategic advantage that you guys kind of think that you guys have in the market today?
So honestly, we're really big on investing in our team and in all aspects of life, right? So we really focus on trying to develop leaders, and everybody's going to say they try and develop leaders, right?
Sure.
And there are very few companies out there that are actually putting in the time and effort and know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I can't teach you how to do something if I haven't done it myself, right?
Yep.
So guys come to us, I think, because of our online branding. I think is really it's good
solid.
For us. I mean, the team or the company not so much, because we just fired a website person and stuff like that. So we're trying to figure out the content website stuff right now. But I think overall the Lone Star brands, me and Zach, I think our presence is pretty good online. So we have a lot of people that have followed us. For instance, a guy followed me 2 years ago. And just the other day, he called me and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm looking for a new spot. I'm not happy where I'm at." And he came in and interviewed, and I looked on my Instagram, and I didn't follow him back. I didn't know who he was, you know. And he's like, "Man, I followed you for 2 years," and I'm like, "Shit,
My
well,
bad.
now I met you. Cool, what's up, man?" You know? But yeah, developing leaders, I think they come to us for a reason because, and not to sound like cocky or anything,
No,
but
dude.
we're doing
Yeah.
things that they want to do, right?
Yep.
We're buying rental houses, we're putting money into the stock market, we're investing in different ways, buying multifamily properties, buying properties and developing stuff like that. Like we're doing things that guys want to do. So they're coming to us, I think, for that reason.
Yeah.
And so we're not only are we like open book, right? We're paying very well for the industry and DFW.
You guys have a super competitive comp structure.
Yeah, it's not like we're blowing anybody out of the water
No.
saying 60-40, no office fee, because then you're sacrificing things, right? But
yeah,
for-
then you're devaluing you guys. Yeah, exactly.
getting all the proper things, the office, the insurance, everything like that, our comp plan is very great. So not only that's attractive to them, but the leadership and our ability to turn people into leaders. Andrew is one of our top sales reps. He actually is our top sales rep. He just bought his third investment property.
Wow. Under like the leadership of like what you guys have done, like kind of you guys, because I've seen, you know, you and Zach, that's something that you guys do. Y'all are also real estate investors, right? So, and I'm guessing you kind of brought Andrew underneath and said, "Hey, this is how we've done it.
Yeah.
Here's a template."
So me and Zach are partners in this business, obviously.
Which was a recent
Development, kind of,
Yeah.
So he's always kind of been in play, but he was with Apex, Ryan Stewman in sales and stuff, and then he really wanted to come on and help grow it and stuff, and his background is in business-to-business sales and stuff like that, developing leaders, stuff like that. So I made him a third partner, so he's a very big part of this business now. And
dude, he deserves it.
Yeah, for sure, he's a killer. But yeah, developing leaders. Andrew came to us in I think it was 22 or 21, doing like 700 in sales, not getting paid right. The owner of the last company hired some sales manager that was kind of a drunk and just stealing, and nobody really knew it until the end. And it's just like, you have a great sales rep there, and you're like, not only to do it in general to anybody, right? That's wrong. But to do it to your top sales rep, that's insane to me. Like, he's bringing in all the business to your company. I think that company dissolved, rightfully so, right? But
yeah, because what's the attrition rate? Like, it's pretty strong.
It's like 80-90%.
The first
done within
2 years or something? 3 years, right?
And then I think it's an even higher percentage from 3 to 5 years. So, like, the companies that make it past 5 years are, like, in the top 5% already, right?
Yeah.
But, Andrew's a multi-million-dollar producer now, bought 3 investment properties. He's got a daughter. He's about to get married. So we can't take full responsibility for that, obviously, but I think Lonestar is a part to play in that.
I would completely agree, right? Like the people that, I had a guy come in, did a podcast with me last week. His name is Parker, and he's a ex-pro baseball player, now real estate investor, does real estate, and he coaches like mindset. He coaches mindset coaching, and one of the things that we talked about last week was that, right? Mm-hmm. Like getting around the right people. Huge. And you're the average of the 5 people that are closest around you. And I honestly 1,000% believe that.
Proximity is huge. It's everything.
It's massive. Yeah. So it's like, did Andrew have to make his own choices, his own decisions, his own disciplines for sure, but without the incubator, probably wouldn't have happened, right? So that's a big testament to you guys.
He's a killer, great guy, and he has a fencing company on the side too, so he was always going to be successful, right?
No matter what. He was going to be those guys that was going to be successful no matter what.
He was going to be there, but I think Lonestar helped that and kind of gave him the avenue to get there and stuff, and Zach even invested in one with him, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So they went on a property together?
I think it was a duplex, actually. Yeah. So I think he's got 4 or 5 doors now through 3 or 4 properties. So
that's legit, man. He's good for him.
Yeah.
So obviously, let's talk about Zach for a second. Yeah. And so you said a third partner. Is there another partner in this deal?
Mm-hmm. Just me and Zach.
A third.
Yeah. So he's
okay. Got it. I didn't know if you were talking. Okay, got it. Now I'm here with you.
Yeah.
So he got a third of this piece, bro. Good for him. Let's talk about that. And because it's pretty cool. Because I'm in business with my brother. You're now in business with your brother. I think that's a pretty cool commonality. Tell me a little bit about that dynamic between you and Zach, and why you think it's paid off so much.
Sure. I think growing up, we kind of butted heads, obviously, as all brothers do.
100%.
And then I think when I got my when I got my license at 15, 16, that was when Zach's a smart guy, right? So he was like, shit, dude, he can take me out to my friends and stuff like that. So he
got to start being nice to him.
He started to be a little bit less of a shit, and he wanted to be around. And so that was kind of when I think our relationship really started to develop.
Sure.
And we kind of became best friends by the time I was 17, and kind of we're inseparable and all that stuff. And then, after high school, he went to college, UNT. Thankfully, he stayed close, so we always maintained that relationship. And just growing up, my parents always said, like, money's not going to get in between you guys. That can't be something that gets in between y'all. So it was kind of instilled in us from an early age that family's really everything, and money's never going to get in between that, no matter if it's a lack of or in excess.
Sure.
So I think just my parents instilling certain things into us just allowed us to get past certain hiccups that maybe other brothers maybe not are able to.
Yeah.
So anytime we had a disagreement or a fight or whatever, it was always that night or the next morning, make
Figure
it
it
up
out.
and just get it done.
Yep.
And so I think just doing that year after year after year, our whole life basically, I think that
Prepared y'all for this.
yeah, and so like we work extremely well together. He's more in the field, hands-on, door knocking, training the guys that way and stuff, and I'm more back in big picture. How can we maximize referrals? How can we get in with insurance agents, realtors, stuff like that?
Yeah.
So I think that dynamic also works really, really well.
1,000%. So you're more visionary. He's more integrator-esque.
Dude, honestly, like it's weird to say. I think in that aspect, yes, but he's always given the analogy of like when you're playing, like, let's say Grand Theft Auto or whatever, and you can have the driver's seat, right?
Yep.
And up until now, it's always been more so, and it still kind of is really, but just in that aspect, it's a little different. It's a little shifted. But he's always given that analogy of I'm in the driver's seat, right? And I have the POV view, and then he's up in that, above to where you can see the car, the street, the people and stuff, and he can kind of see a little bit more of the bigger picture and plan from there.
Got it.
And
okay.
So, it still kind of is that way, yeah, but I focus on different things as opposed to him being in the field integrating stuff like that. I'm more recruiting. Well, he recruits too, but
the recruiting is definitely like that's a team effort, right?
More back end stuff. You can't really, and there's nothing wrong with knocking and getting in the field, but you can't really have, if we're trying to scale to where we're trying to get to, or even scale to where we've gotten already, the owner can't be in the field knocking every day.
Absolutely not.
And so
it's
just a great dynamic.
You've got to delegate, right?
Yeah,
and so like that's the whole thing that we've done here too is like, now, I used to be handling kind of like your dad, bro, like everything. Invoices, estimates. I was on job sites. You name it, dude. And now I haven't sent like an invoice or an estimate in 2 years, right? Like
and you've grown.
Yeah, we've grown a ton. And so like, and a lot of times it's you're scared to let go of that vine a little bit, and it's tough to let go of those responsibilities. But if your training and your processes are in the right way, then you've got to trust your team to execute. Sure. You've got to trust that you've hired the right people to go and do the job. And super excited for you and Zach, man. So that's probably a big decision. That was obviously a big decision, right? To bring him on, and that obviously, like, this is something that you've built, and doing that, and it is not like it's not a light thing to do.
No, for sure.
So big ups to you guys, and super excited to see what you guys have. Tell me a little bit about 2026, man. What's kind of the goals? Are you guys, without getting into too much detail, but like what is like? Have you guys talked to your company about like a 2026 mission? Does everybody kind of know what's going on and what you guys are doing?
Everybody's definitely on the same page. We've kind of separated roles and stuff. We have different. So I think we do more equestrian facilities in the state than anybody.
That's wild.
And I may be wrong, but when I've said that, nobody's came at me or corrected me. And I know what we do.
Yeah.
So I think we're the largest in equestrian roofing in the state.
So like you're roofing like
like arenas, stables, stuff like that. So like big ranches, like when you're driving through like Argyle or whatever, there's big ranches on the sides and it's a bunch of metal. So I think we're doing more than anybody in the state.
That's sick.
That's one thing we have an in with, and I'm not going to get into that. Can't give you too much, but we have an in with that. And so we put Andrew as the head of our equestrian division.
Wow.
So we're trying to do $5+ million in equestrian, right?
Yep.
And then we have like an opening new market. So we call it storm chasing, but as we talked about before, it's not like a true storm chasing market. It's going to be somewhere local that we already have a foothold in.
Yep.
But we're trying to do $5 million+ in that, and then we're trying to do $5 million+ in residential. We're trying to do $5 million+ in strictly referral partners. So we have some pretty big goals this year.
You have to though.
I think we should be on pace for 15 at least, but we're shooting for 20 million for the year.
That's the goal for the year.
And we're my personal goal is to try to develop a couple millionaires within the company. So there's already a couple there in the company, which is really cool.
That's sick.
Because almost all of our guys have some sort of like side business or something, or investments or something like that. So there's already a couple millionaires within the Lonestar brand, but we're trying to develop as many as we can, obviously, because we know with the right people with money in their hands can do a lot of good. So
that's what it's all about, bro.
Yeah, we're trying to develop a couple more millionaires this year personally, and help the guys invest and keep their families growing, healthy, happy wives, happy life
life,
in the
yeah.
back, you know. So happy kids at home, you know. Trying to develop leaders and a couple more millionaires this year, I think, is my personal goal. So
within it, and you know, it's I think it's super important that, like, you know, your team, everyone needs to be rowing in the same direction at the same time. So
Correct, yeah.
you know, you guys have kind of filtered that mission through, and you guys, you know, tell me a little bit about, you know, we're trying to develop something here to where, you know, do you guys have like one-on-ones with your people, and like how do you tie into the long-term vision of the business? Because I think that's something that we've done that has kind of really helped our production from like just overall excited to be here kind of thing. I'm just curious if you guys, you know, deploy some of those same kind of strategies on, you know, because I think, you know, because 20 million could be great for the owner of the company, right? But how does that trickle down into the individual salesman? I think it's really important that they're, you know, that people inside of organizations, they know and understand what their role and how their role directly affects the overall mission. Is that something that you guys kind of deploy in your company? And I feel like you guys do, maybe not like maybe indirectly in some ways, but I just wanted to get your opinion kind of on that concept in general for how important it is to make sure that your guys are like valued and they know like their place in your business.
So a lot of guys don't like to mix like business with friendship and stuff, and like they don't want to go have dinner with the sales rep because then it gets too, you know, the lines get blurry and stuff. I think as long as your guys respect you at the end of the day and know that if you have to sit down and be a boss because they're messing up and they can respect you in that sense, then you can still be friends at the end of the day if you're going to mesh, right? And like I said, we're very picky with our hiring process. And not to say like we want to hire somebody that's good at sales and a good fit for us if we don't see ourselves being friends with them, right?
Right.
But typically the guys that we're bringing in, we end up being friends with. Like I just had 2 or 3 of our guys over at dinner last week, and we did some pasta, had some wine at the house, and chilled and stuff. So I think we developed them one-on-one in a way that others don't normally. Like it's not just business. It's not just see you at the office, roofing sales, see you in the field. It's a little bit bigger than that. And we know their kids' names, know their wives and girlfriends' names. Like we invited one of our guys over to celebrate his new engagement and stuff. And like his fiance was getting along with my wife and holding the kids and stuff. And it was fun. So, we do one-on-one personal stuff. We do one-on-one business stuff. Like everybody kind of knows their role and what we're doing. We have team leads, so we'll meet with our team leads that will then turn around and meet with their guys.
Right. That's so important, bro.
Yeah, you for sure got to have those one-on-ones though, for sure. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it can't be all business. If something's going on, like for instance, we had a guy come to us and the company wasn't taking care of him, paying him on time, overpromising, not delivering, stuff like that. And he came over because he followed us online, and now he's one of our top guys. He's heading our commercial division. He's an awesome guy. I love him to death. But then he came, moved to a new market, didn't have really any friends here because he moved from Tennessee and stuff. And we kind of saw him just in a different state, like his head wasn't in the right place. And so we came to him, we're like, hey, what's going on, man? You know, blah, 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 and tried to invite him into more things. And now he's friends with all the guys. He's going hunting with all the guys. And that was a really cool one to see him come from a company that wasn't, that he was producing, but he wasn't flourishing in, and now he's flourishing here.
There's a total difference between like
friends and family
making
here.
Numbers versus like sitting in your pocket and really,
so
I totally understand.
He's flourishing here, like, you know, a flower bloom. He's a whole different guy now, and he's awesome. And so, yeah, those one-on-ones are important, but not just business, but also
on the personal level. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, do you know Exclusive Roofing with John Almager? Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure.
So I did a podcast with him last, and that's one of the things that
I saw that. Yeah.
That's something he touched on as well. Is like, dude, like, take your team out to dinner. Doesn't mean you need to go and like get drunk and do crazy shit with your team, because like that is kind of blurring the lines a little bit to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But like getting that personal kind of touch is super, super, super important.
Yeah.
And I love the way that you guys do that. And I know how you guys open your home and everything like that. And it makes people feel like they're part of a community rather than like a cog in the machine of, you know, just the only thing that matters is the number you're producing, right?
Sure.
And it's got to be a lot more than that for the people to want to show up and be a part of something, right?
It's like a Lone Star family, man. Like I said, we got guys going out hunting all the time together, you know, going out playing golf and stuff like that. And I think when they come in and they buy into what we have and our culture and our, you know, what we're building, I think they really buy into it, and it shows on them too. And man, man, they just kind of flourish, I think, in our system. If
That's
they come in and
that's
buy
so
in.
good, dude. Yeah, because a lot of the guys that I've met, like you, especially like whenever because we did a training for you guys last year,
Yeah.
and the difference in some companies, like it's palpable even when we do a training, right? You could tell the guys that are bought in, that are excited, that are wanting to be here, and that have good team chemistry versus where we do a training and then the training's done and they have that body language and they get up and they just leave. Hey, thanks for your time, man. And they just get out the door. It's like, bro, you're not making people excited. You're not making people feel like they're part of something. And so, I was telling John the same thing. I was like, man, it like, especially in our position as like a contractor that partners with roofing companies, it becomes very clear very quickly who the winners are and who is not. Who's actually building culture and who's building real opportunities for people and who's not and who's greedy. And only it's because this business can your ego can get out of control very, very quickly. And I think that you and the guys over there at Lonestar and Zach have done a really good job about, truly like being humble and having a servant heart, which I know you spoke on a ton.
Huge. You have to.
And so tell me a little bit about that, bro. Like before, because you've said that before. So I think that for me, from what I understand in a lot of the conversations, we've hung out. Obviously, we've gone to dinners. We've done a bunch of stuff together. So I know you relatively well. And I would like for you to speak on kind of your philosophy that you kind of approach to leadership, right? Like, you approach leadership a little bit differently than I've seen most people. Most people, it's like, okay, we got to read the books. You got to have the discipline. You got to have that. And I'm not saying you guys don't do that because I think you do. And
That's
I think
more Zach.
That's more Zach than it is you. I think you have a pretty unique style of leadership of just serving people. And you've said that before to me. And it's something that I've like tried to take away a little bit. And like, I pray about it every day to like want to be able to serve people more. And you've kind of helped me inspire that.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about like where that kind of comes from for you and why you think that is so important, not only in business, but just as a leader, not only like in your family and everything, kind of that philosophy. Because I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to how I was raised in my family and stuff and the values that my parents instilled in me. And then being the older brother, I was always kind of the leader. And then when I started playing football in 6th grade, I wasn't quarterback until 7th, and then I was quarterback, right? And so you got to be the leader of your team there. And I was quarterback up until junior year. So I had a lot of years of being the oldest brother and then quite a few years of being the quarterback and then starting a business and kind of being the leader there. So I think that that's kind of part of it. And my dad always said, you have to do things with a servant heart, right? Like we're Christians at the end of the day. We believe in God, Jesus, all that. And we live it, pray daily, all that stuff, right? So, and you don't have to. I'd prefer you do, obviously, but you don't have to. But that is kind of pulled back into my religious beliefs and stuff, pulled back into business too, because a lot of times you feel like you have to separate. Like you can't be a successful entrepreneur and be a man of God. But I don't think that that's true.
I think it's completely the like.
I know
God wants us for abundance mindset, bro. Yes.
I know I'm a much, not saying I'm a better person when I have money, but I can give more people things. Like I can bonus our guys out. We do Christmas drives every year. We never post about it. We just go out and find a family and, that's in need and we pay for their Christmas stuff, and we do stuff like that all the time. So when money's flowing in, I know I'm a lot better person on that front of giving because I try to give all the time, but when yours are good and stuff, like I try and give more. So, so the servant heart, man, it's you have to truly live it. You can't just say that I'm doing things through Christ, and then when something comes up and it's a moral,
there's a decision to be made.
Then you go after the money. You can't do it. You have to go at a servant heart, take care of the homeowner, truly have their best interest in mind. And it goes back to your team, your family, your homeowner, whoever it is, your subs, your business partners, like whoever it is, you truly, obviously you want the best for yourself, but you want the best for them too. And you truly have to believe that. And at the end of the day, I think the servant heart is just doing the right thing no matter what and wanting the best for them. The money's always going to follow when you're doing good business the right way.
Yeah.
And I think almost 8 years in business now, we have like 150 plus 5-star reviews, not a single negative review. That's because when conflict comes up, it goes back to that, like, what are my beliefs? What are my morals? What are the company values? Stuff like that. We go at it with a servant heart. And if we mess up, we're going to fix it. And if it costs me tens of thousands of dollars to fix it, then we're going to fix it. Like the other day, we had something come up and it was just like drip felt has to be installed like to the drip edge, right?
Yep.
And we had like a millimeter off, like it was like 1.5 inches of exposure on the back side of our roof, and it was like to 1.4 inches. And it was just one of those things. We do a lot of real estate transactions, so it got flagged on the real estate transaction. And the realtors wanted us to replace the whole roof. And I was like, it doesn't, really make sense to replace the whole roof. At the end of the day, if we absolutely need to do that to get it to where you guys can sell this house and you're going to lose a deal over it, then we'll do it. And I don't really want to, but we'll do it. So we ended up doing some repairs and getting it fixed up for him, and I ate thousands of dollars on it. But at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do to get it fixed up. So
1,000%.
the servant heart's huge, and you have to actually truly believe it and live it. And like I said, when you come to that moral dilemma, you always have to side with what is right, even if it costs you money.
1,000%, man. And I think that's I really hope that you guys heard that, because that particular concept, this world that we live in now it's full of temptation. It's full of greed. It's full of all of that. And the way that you approach things is something that I think that a lot of people can learn from. And I think you're right. You can't really BS your way through it. And at the end of the day, like when you've got a company, and not everyone on this, whoever's gonna be listening, it's not just about entrepreneurship, but like at my church, we talk about it all the time. You can really judge a man by the fruit in his life, and that's through family, through business, monetarily, the relationships that you have. Finances are just one part of kind of that tree, right? And having that servant heart and really having a heart for others and their success, inevitably it does come back on. You're right.
Always,
it always does. Right. And that's kind of, in my opinion, like, that's just kind of how God, and that's how it works. Right. Like I believe that. And so, man, that's so fantastic, man. And I just want to commend you, because you don't have a company that does what you guys do, maintains the people that you guys have on fake BS.
Sure.
Those are the companies that flare out in a year, 2 years.
Easy to see through.
Easy to see through very quickly.
And you talk to our guys and they'll tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of BS in this world now, and it's pretty easy to see through, I think, in my opinion, being in it for so long, almost 13 years now.
So, I've been in the insurance restoration business for the December of this year will be 10 years.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
And so
easy to see through.
Yeah. Like even just, it's funny, like online when you see the people, the way that they post and stuff like that, you're just like, I don't know. Yeah, not really sure.
Who's around in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years and whatever it may be. So yeah, I think kind of goes right into something a little bit about on this particular subject is like people, culture, and leadership. I think we've really touched on it, right? Is like you said, one of the questions that I asked was, how do you hire and retain A players at scale? And I think we just answered that in its entirety, right? How do you do that? You do it by culture, honesty, paying, and that is what attracts top reps. And I feel like, there's something also that I kind of believe is that, like, the leaders of an organization, you have to always be improving in one way or another.
Sure.
There's no, once you get it to, it's not like you guys got it to, 10 million and like, oh, this is great, we're just going to stay where we're at. I promise you, if you guys didn't have bigger ambitions for this next year, the next 3 or 5 years, your top reps would go.
Yeah, for sure.
They would leave.
And because there's leadership and equity opportunities too with them, and they know that, so they're sticking around.
They're sticking around. Not only that, but like just because the leaders aren't complacent. So I feel like leaders always have to be shucking, driving, moving, growing, learning, or there's nothing to follow anymore, right? Mm-hmm. If you decided to get complacent and you decided to kind of just like take it easy or chill or whatever it may be, not to say you have to be like this David Goggins guy or anything like that, but just like keeping the needle moving forward as a leader is super important. And then obviously what is a cultural principle is non-negotiable for you? Morality. Yep. We got to have number one thing, right? You didn't even write anything else. Just morality, like doing pretty simple, like doing the right thing, like having character and integrity, doing the right thing when no one's looking, right? Paying when you need to pay, doing a repair.
Own up to it.
Yeah, doing a repair when you don't really want to do a repair. You just got to do it. Suck it up. This is something that I definitely want to talk about, is a leadership mistake that you learned early on, and then what changed afterwards.
Yeah. I think here we go. Don't give too much too fast. Bad apples can disguise themselves well. Being cautious of what's given and how quickly. So, I think last year was a big growth year for us. We've doubled over every year in the last couple of years. I think it's been 3 years we've doubled. Went from 3 to 6 to 10, almost doubling there.
Yeah.
So we're
On track.
on track for it,
Yeah.
right? And so last year we had a couple guys come in, and we brought them into one of the guys brought him into our leadership team and stuff like that.
Immediate, right?
Yeah, yeah. I want to say immediate, but pretty quickly. Like he came in, and we thought he was a star in the making and stuff, and and he went off and did his own thing, and that's fine. But the way that we found out some things afterwards, that some potential opportunities were taken with, and the way that it was handled was just kind of not how I would recommend handling it,
Right.
And no hard feelings to the guy. Wish him the best. It is what it is. But that was a big learning experience for us, is going through that and learning stuff out after and figuring out how to navigate losing a guy that was on the leadership team with us and stuff like that. So yeah, now it was just a learning curve for us, and now we're more cautious of bringing guys up too quickly just because they're coming in and they're living what we preach, and they're learning the core values and stuff, and they're living that every day, and bringing in sales and recruiting and stuff. Just because they're doing all the business things right doesn't mean they need to go straight to the top.
1,000%.
And you just need to be careful navigating that. There are definitely guys within our organization that deserve the spots that they're in, and there are guys that deserve to be propped up. Soon we're just slowing that process down a little bit.
Yeah, that
being
whole,
careful with it.
That whole concept is and I've seen it a ton in the roofing business in general, right? I've seen it happen across a lot of different platforms where an individual sales guy in the roofing game, $1.75 million, $2 million guy. I mean, that's smoking, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's smoking.
Good in DFW for sure.
And just automatically promoting that guy to a lead position. Yeah. Just because he's a great sales guy doesn't make him a great manager and leader of people.
And most aren't, to be honest.
Most aren't,
From
right?
my experience, I've seen guys that are $2 million guys, but they can't teach somebody how to knock a door and stick with the customer for whatever reason. And that's okay. Not everybody's going to be a leader, but you just got to be cautious of how you promote and how fast you do it.
That's exactly right. And I think that's a good lesson for roofing companies that are looking to actively grow and scale. We're in the midst of partnering with a company called Culture Index. I'm going to recommend them to you, by the way. It's like basically they help organizations place people in their company based on their personality, not their resume, right? Because their resume is a lot different. Anyone can go to ChatGPT and write a bang up resume and give the very, very best version of themselves. But you're taking that test, you can't hide from it, right?
Like the personality test?
Yeah, but it's very specific on how they've done it. Dude, I took the test, and the guy, he read me like a book looking at 5 different dots, told me everything about myself. I was like, this is nuts. And thankfully, we're going through like our organization chart and stuff like that. And thankfully, I am in the position that my personality needs to be in.
You can be the leader.
Yeah,
That's good.
I can be what's funny? Not even necessarily like the leader. Like my brother's more of the leader. Mm-hmm. I'm more of like the culture champion.
Integrator, maybe.
Yeah, he's definitely more integrator. I'm a lot more visionary-esque. Like I have the relationships with you. Like if I wanted to leave PB National right now and start my own thing, all the clients, I could take them all, right? Because I have those relationships. I would obviously never do that.
Of course.
But I would also, if I were to do that, then I would be screwed because I don't have any of the processes that Preston has put in place. Like I would be. So it's why we really truly are hamming and egging it, right? But it was just a very, very clear indication of like, okay, great. Especially an organization that's a lot of W-2. Like we're literally putting in like, we're about to make a hire, about to pay him $100,000 like salary. And so it's like, okay, we have to make sure we're making a really good decision here before we start doing that. And so I'm going to, this is all going back to the point of though, not the people who are really high producers does not mean they're good managers and sales managers of people. So anyone who's like growing and doing, growing a roofing company, I would look into some different methods of hiring. Get creative on that before you promote to team lead status, because sometimes the team lead may be a guy who does, 800 to $1 million, still a good, solid producer, but he's super meticulous, super organized, understands the process from start to finish. And those are the kind of guys that you want managing people rather than just the blow and go, knocking down 1 million doors, who's just running around with his hair on fire, closing deals left and right. Obviously, we want those guys in our company, but we want those guys firing sales. We don't want to stop them from producing as high as they can to try to start. You know what I'm saying?
And some people, it is just kind of like your hand cut. You're putting a ball on their ankle because it's like, hey, you're putting 5 guys under me now, and now my sales dropped from 2 million to 500,000, and my team's responsible for 2 million. But wouldn't you rather me have that 2 million by myself and put somebody else over this team?
Who can develop them to $1 million producers and make them make 5 million out of it instead of 2 or 3, right?
You newer owners don't give too much too fast, and be very picky on it. And just because you have a guy come in that's doing a lot of sales, he doesn't need to automatically get equity in your company or profit share or anything like that, because this industry is very high turnover, and it doesn't take much for guys to go start their own thing. So if you don't provide things more than just a company to sell for, if you're not providing back-end support, relationships on a deeper level, investment strategies, developing them as leaders and people and friends, and if you're not providing more than that, then these guys will just take off and leave.
Yeah, it's flippant.
And so it's like, well, you just promoted this guy and put him over 5 of your guys and made him their guy. Like, you pulled yourself out of it, and now he's their guy. And then he starts his own company.
Who do you think
What's to say? Exactly. They've been with this guy in the field for a year, and they've poured everything into this guy. And now you just lost your whole company because you gave too much too fast. So
yeah, it's such a good point.
Just be cautious what you do growing, you know?
So good, man. I absolutely love that. Let me think here. Let's see where we go. Let's talk a little about industry, bro. Let's talk about some insurance restoration roofing. Tell me where you think the things are going to be in the next 24 to 36 months. Give me kind of like some structural changes in the roofing industry or some of your predictions there. And then, what should operators prepare for? And you gave a little bit of a pessimistic answer there, but I think we should still answer it. And then talk about ACV policies. Let's talk a little bit about more industry related stuff, and then we'll close this thing out.
Sure. Yeah, I think private equity obviously has already been a big part of this industry, right?
Sure.
And some argue it's for the best, and some argue for it's not. I think it may clean up the industry a little bit. I think we'll get probably some more legislation changes on it, some licensing, and maybe it's a little bit better than Oklahoma's licensing, to where you kind of just take a test and you get, you can use this if you need to.
Okay, yeah,
I saw your iPad just died.
Just died, bro. Sick.
So I think if we get a little bit more legislation changes and licensing here that's like legitimate license, like I think it's RCAT has their license and stuff, and that's all fine and dandy. Respect to them. I like what they're trying to do, but I think we need state licensing. I think we need testing. I think it needs to be a little bit more strict on that front. But I think private equity coming in is going to bring in some big changes. I think managed repair programs are going to be a bigger thing here in the state here in the next 24 to 36 months, which that is basically an insurance carrier like Allstate or State Farm having a list of people that they have approved to work with them. And they kind of monopolize it in a sense that they can incentivize a homeowner. Like today, I got a call from one of my insurance agents here that I work with, and they said, hey, can a roofer pressure my person to use that company if they can offer better discounts on the roof or whatever? And I'm like, well, no, you can't. It's not here yet. Like eventually it probably will be. And I've heard rumors of the insurance company being able to incentivize roofing companies or to incentivize homeowners and say like, hey, we'll lower your deductible by half if you use our person, because we know that roofer's not going to go in and kill us on supplements or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And they're going to have fixed pricing.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're getting into. But I told them, no, they can't do that now. And it's kind of just more of a scare tactic. Like we're in with a bunch of insurance agents that refer us. And we do a lot of good things with them. But if they say, hey, we have a roofer at the end of the day, then okay, cool, get on. But I think managed repair programs are going to be a bigger thing here coming up in the next 2 or 3 years.
Especially with private equity involved.
Exactly.
Like, bigger money talks to bigger money.
Yeah. So. And private equity is in bed with insurance companies and stuff like that. Like they got a hand in everything. So if they can, make their pockets bigger by getting insurance companies to do the managed repair programs, and state legislation doesn't stop them, then
and especially from like a company resource standpoint, like let's just say you have a company on that has an MRP with an insurance company. If they make that 90% of their business is MRP programs, well, they don't need 1099 sales guys going banging down doors, right?
They need 5 or 6 guys out in the field. Insurance companies don't need adjusters anymore either.
Correct.
Because they could just call that company and
company. They take the photos. Then
and
also,
the company's going to do it for free, obviously, because they want the work.
Well, free inspections, and then also the pricing per square is going to be pretty set.
Yeah.
And so I definitely agree with you. I think that's kind of where
it's going that way.
I think it's going that way, but I think, full industry takeover is going to be a long time.
Sure.
But I think I do think you're right. We're going to see a little bit more of it.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Tell us a little about how operators should now prepare now and avoid margin compression or carrier-driven disruption. So, given some of the things that we're talking about here in the MRP programs and stuff of that nature, private equity, how do you, as a smaller roofing contractor, and when I say smaller, I'm talking about less than 100 million.
Yeah, not
right?
a huge monopoly.
Not
guy.
a huge monopoly guy, right? You're banging, you're out, 10, 15, 20 million dollars, $30 million. Not that you guys are a small organization, but comparatively to the national roofing brands,
like
right?
Stronghouse Solutions, all those guys are multi-nine-figure business. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Sure. I think I don't know. It depends on how fast this whole process kind of goes. Because like I said, I think we're moving to that space, the MRPs, the DRPs, stuff like that. So I think it kind of just depends on how fast it goes. I think guys getting into it now, it's going to be a little bit harder to prolong this and make it, like a legacy business. Like a lot of us want to try and do is keep it in the family, keep our guys retained, hand it off to the kid, whatever the case may be. I think it's going to be a lot harder in this industry to be able to do that and kind of create a legacy business, just because I do see that becoming a thing. So I think just getting into it, obviously get out, do good business, try and build a name for yourself, build a team up, whatever. I'm not deterring people from getting into it, but I think it's a little bit past that point of like, hey, can I come in and really build something special and keep it around and be a legacy for decades to come? Because I think PE is going to come in and purchase up a lot of the bigger guys, a lot of the middle end guys, and kind of create those big conglomerates where it's 20 roofing companies across the nation servicing all the Southwest or whatever the case may be, and they're in with the insurance carriers and. They're going to get referred out and stuff, and great for them, if they're doing good business. But I think it's kind of a little bit past that point of trying to come in and really do something huge and special and be one of those massive guys. I think if you're not already in it and kind of doing good business and spreading your name and growing something, I think it's going to be hard to get to that point in the next 5 to 10 years. And
I think you're probably right. I think that it's as the nature of the beast is gearing up to be a little bit more of an uphill battle than it was before, versus starting in 2010 to 2020, right? Like those were now, you guys prime time getting in the industry. Because I had another guest on, one of our other partners, and he's been in since 2008, right? And he's like, dude, I went to Denver Storm, and I was one of 10 roofing companies there doing storm restoration work, 20 years ago.
Now there's 10 guys on a door in an hour.
It's just it's completely different. I think that kind of ties in a little bit to the licensing requirements and stuff like that. I think the industry needs it bad. I know that a lot of people have controversy on that, but I like it because for us specifically, you have to have a Texas electrical license to do the work that we do. And so how many times have you guys been talking to homeowners and stuff like that, where that's been a selling point for your homeowners to know that it's a regulated, whoever's doing your solar or detached or reset, they're licensed with the state of Texas, an actual regulated body. It holds more weight. And consumers, once they understand that, then it's oh, okay, there's a litmus now of who I can choose versus not choose. And everyone, all respect to RCAT, but everyone knows that it's a pay to play license, right?
In the industry, people do. Homeowners not so much.
Homeowners not so much.
Coming in and they're we're licensed and bonded and all this other stuff, and anybody can get a bond, whatever. We just had to get one for a school project. It was easy. They checked my credit, blah blah blah. It was good to go. So that's easy, right? Licensing, I think RCAT does kind of test you in a little bit.
They do. I think they have some requirements. I think you got to be in business for 2 years. You got to, I think you have to be someone with the BBB. There is a little bit of a vetting process, but you pay. Yeah, it's a pay to
the BBB.
It's pay to play. Pay to play, right? Versus Texas. I mean, it's a very small fee, but that's just because it's the government. You have to you're not going to get a license for free. Very different in my opinion. I think that it would be a really, really good separator. And I think that they should make it strict as hell.
It has to be done right. You can't have somebody just come in as a money grab. And props to Oklahoma for doing it, but our Oklahoma license was easy to get. I mean, it was some testing and stuff, and I think that's why Oklahoma has less contractors, but they have less population. So,
sure. Yeah, they're per capita. It's very spread out.
Sure, yeah. But DFW, there's something like 10,000 roofing companies. It would obviously slow down if we got licensing of any sort, right? But we need correct licensing. Someone's got to come in and really believe in the cause and not be financially incentivized by it. And they got to believe in the cause.
It needs to be HVAC, electric, mold. It needs to be
it's got to be
super extensive on because Yeah, we can really get off deep in that, but I really do believe that is something that would help a ton.
Yeah.
And then I think that it would really create a lot of room for people who do want to come in and do it right.
Yep.
I think the reasons to why I would agree with you, current state, why that gap is kind of, or that bridge is kind of closing, is because it's just such a free for all in the roofing business. There's you can get out of prison yesterday, today, go get a file LLC, DBA, and start knocking doors, right? And that, in my opinion, shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I know that's going to be a controversy in the roofing business, and I know
think it should be.
I know
it shouldn't be a controversy.
It shouldn't be a controversy. It's like, okay, so that's a whole other concept as far as that goes. But I do believe that it would open up the industry a lot more for like qualified people who want to get into and do something and do it the right way.
The good guys to flourish.
To flourish. I really do believe that that's what it would do. So I think that's obviously like a very controversial topic it's pretty hot in our industry today. I'd like to just kind of maybe close this out a little bit and start, kind of wrapping it up on, if I love this question, if an owner listens to this episode, what is the one decision or action you hope they would change this quarter?
So that was one thing that it took me a long time to answer that. So I'd be curious to see what I did answer on that, just out of curiosity. Can you?
Yeah.
So, because there's a million things that I could go off on this, but I think the one that I settled on was good.
It was good, yeah.
So I think we've really kind of touched on this is paying everybody on time and paying correctly. Make sure that's your number one priority now, is getting everybody paid, taking care of folks that, come to bat for you and go to war with you and represent your name and your culture. Because at the end of the day, if you're not paying your subs, like when my subs send an invoice, it's paid almost instantaneously. And I know some of the bigger guys don't really do that. They pay every Friday or whatever. So recently I've been getting inundated with emails and stuff like that. So I got to figure out a system on that, because you'll send an invoice and then if I don't see it and pay it right away, now it kind of gets buried quick and then I have to see the reminder. I'm like, oh crap, get it paid. But paying your subs on time, your cash flow problems are not their problems, right? If all of your clients, let's say you do 50 detach and resets in a month, right? And all of your clients are like, hey, we're waiting on insurance checks. You're screwed. You got payroll to make. Like, y'all have bankroll, I'm sure, but that's going to put y'all in a tight spot.
For sure.
And roofing contractors now, like, the barrier of entry is so low to get into roofing. And capital, they'll take a check and build a job and take a check and build a job. And then if they get behind and make a mess up and they do it right and fix it, then that bankroll just dropped. And now they got to go rob Peter to pay Paul, right? So they got to sign 2 homeowners over here and take those checks to build this job. And it just gets real messy, right? And they make their cash flow problems their subs and reps problems. And you can't do that. You have to pay your subs on time. If you don't have a bankroll to be able to pay these guys, you shouldn't be owning a company. Or figure out a capital situation. Get a partner that has capital or get a credit line or something. But you have to have some sort of capital build up to pay your subs on time, pay your reps on time, pay your reps correctly. We do open books. So anything that they want to see, obviously don't see like back end insurance costs or office costs, because that doesn't come into play.
On the job, yeah.
Exactly. We have a 10% office fee, not off the total job, off of the profit. So that's why I said our pay schedule is a little bit more aggressive, because we don't take it off the top, we take it off the profit. But that goes to that. So they don't need to see the back end stuff. That doesn't matter to them on their jobs. They see the labor invoices for the roofing, the material invoices, the return invoices, the gutter invoices, whatever invoices they want to see. We pull up that address, 123 Main Street. Here's everything attached to it. We're integrating with QuickBooks right now, so everything will be able to go there.
Yeah, we talked about it. I was like, bro, you got to go QuickBooks.
Dude, and that's another thing, man. Don't do your own bookkeeping, because it gets messy, especially once you get up past 5-10 million. So, but pay your subs on time. Don't make your cash flow problems theirs. Pay your reps on time. Pay them clearly, precise. If there's discrepancy in pricing, get it fixed, make it right. But don't lie, don't steal to your guys. They're the guys that are building your brand and your reputation. Why would you take from them? So don't get in, chase the money and think, oh, I can screw this guy over and add $500 to a labor charge. He's never going to know, because I've heard of that happening. Don't go to your supplier and negotiate your rebates with them and say, hey, charge my guys $5 more square and give me that $5 back at the end of the year. Because I've heard that's a thing too, which blows my mind. Don't do things like that. Just do it the right way. Pay your guys on time. Pay your subs on time. Don't make your cash flow problems their problems. And among other things, the morality, the leadership, all that other stuff. If you do all those things combined that we've talked about here today, you'll be fine in this industry for sure. You'll stand out and be good.
Man, I can't tell y'all as a subcontractor how important that is. You know, we run a model at PV National that is a little bit different than most detach and reset contractors that just work off a per panel price, a low per panel price to try to be competitive in the market. And, you know,
race to the
bottom in that situation. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But, you know, we've been really fortunate to where our business model truly is built off like partnerships and relationships, to where we've the only time we've ever really had accounts receivable problems is people that call in wanting a detach and reset. We tell them what our model is. We sign a construction contract with them. And then because they're having accounts receivable problems with their homeowners, they're making it my problem, right? It literally exactly what you're saying. And thankfully we haven't had to deal with that because the nature of the way we've structured our business. We haven't had to deal with AR problems. Like that's
who you work with.
Exactly. Like there's not, we typically don't really deal with any AR problems, but I have heard absolute horror stories where, and dude, you see it on like the Facebook construction pages all the time. Like they'll say, "Hey, don't use this. Don't work for this guy. You know, he owes me $9,000 or he owes me." I've seen $30,000. I've seen crazy numbers on there. And everything that Brett just said there, guys. Like if you guys are in the roofing business, you're getting started. It is so important to do everything that he said. Like we took that same principle, just applied it a little bit differently. Like we paid ourselves absolutely last. We never paid ourselves.
Sure,
we have to, right? We never, ever paid ourselves first. And we never had the ego, oh, we're the business owners. We deserve to get paid X amount. Absolutely not. So I think that goes hand in hand with what you're saying is that like, be the last person to pay. Like you're the last person that gets paid. Now, if you do it right, the risk that you took, you get the reward.
Yeah.
But you can't have it both ways, right? You can't screw people over and then be the guy who just bought the new truck and just did that. And when you're reps and your subs and people aren't getting paid, right? Sure. That's phony. That's phony.
Yeah, you pull up in a new truck and your reps like, they screwed me on $1,000 out of the last job, or you pull up in a Lambo and like your guys are like, he hasn't paid me in 2 months. It's like,
yeah, what is that?
It makes no sense.
Exactly.
And they lose respect for you and everything.
And then everything just kind of falls.
That's something we could talk about for hours, but just pay your subs, pay your reps, do it precisely, do it cleanly, do it correctly, show them stuff. If there's a discrepancy, pull up your invoices and say, hey, here's this. And we've done that before where a guy's like, dude, I thought this roof was going to cost like $2,000 less. And I'm like, brother, here's the invoices. We do the build sheet of like your profit, what you made on it, what all the costs were.
Yep.
And he's like, can you pull up that roofing invoice? And I pulled it up and showed it, and our supplier made a mistake and charged us for like 16 rolls of ice and water or something for instead of like 4 or something.
Yeah.
And they're like $100 a piece. So like it was like $1,500 more or something. He's like, oh crap, that's okay, cool. Let me call the supplier. And then he got a credit and got the difference, So show open invoices. They may save you money at the end of the day too, because they noticed something wrong with it. But at the end of the day, you can't have closed bookkeeping on the front end of things. On the back end, obviously, your business costs are your business costs, right?
Yeah, no, that's no one else's business.
With your subs, you got to have open bookkeeping, in my opinion, and I think that's why I'm never getting questioned on what the commission is, because we show them everything. So there's never any doubt that, my owner's screwing me.
Yeah,
and then there's animosity on the back end, and then they're looking for new companies, and it just creates a big world.
I've had so many situations like that where, because I get a ton of calls. Like whenever someone moves to a different company, I get a call. Like, hey, I'm moving to a different company. I want you to come and, I want you to be our solar detach and reset guy over here. And then they give me all the reasons why. And it's pretty much the same thing. Like not the non-transparency deal when it comes to commissions and overrides and stuff like that. Like, guys, if you have your people on a 1099 contracted sales position that are not a W-2 employee, you're obligated to show them the numbers. Like, you're obligated to do it. So you need to do it the right way.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, man, dude, I think that honestly, kind of, I'd actually, maybe like to just touch on kind of, I always try to plug PV National just a little bit in these deals. And so I'd like to ask you, kind of some of your experiences with us so far as your detach and reset partner, and kind of what you would recommend, even, not so much about PV National, but just like finding a good company to do it and kind of what it's done for you guys.
No, I'll plug y'all till the death of me. I mean, that's like, we become good friends and stuff, and our wives are friends, and, it's a good fit just for us personally too, but on a business level, y'all do business the same way we do. and operate with integrity, and you have your core values here and you live by them. Not only that, do you offer that, but you also offer on the business side of things. You guys have made us so much money over the last year that we've been with you guys. If you guys don't know what they do, they handle the supplements start to finish, and it's a profit share, and it's amazing. Like, you just ask somebody, how much do you charge per panel? It's like, oh, $125, and it's like, you can't do that here, because that's not what we're after. It's not a race to the bottom. Like, if you want the cheapest quality sub for the cheapest price, that's not what you need to do here. But if you're after a partner to grow your business with and make more money with, PV National is definitely, like, y'all are the choice. There's no other choice, in my opinion. Like I said, I've been in this industry for 13 years-ish. I've seen so many of these business models kind of come and go and fizzle out and stuff and not work. And I was reluctant when Zach told me about y'all's business model. I was like, it just doesn't, the way that y'all do it, it was new to me. And I was like, okay, cool, let's hear them out. And then I met you and I heard it out and I was like, screw it, let's try it out. And now we don't have another solar sub. There's nobody else we let touch our roofs. Because not only do we know you're going to do business on the back, good business on the back end of things, we can trust you. Not only that, we make more money with you. And knock on wood, we haven't had a single leak callback from any of your jobs. And we were your first or second biggest last year?
It rounded out to be third, but y'all still crushed it.
All right. So third biggest last year, and there was dozens and dozens of jobs, I would imagine.
With you guys,
and no leak calls. Yep. So, like, at the end of the day, like, if I'm trusting somebody to go and basically screw into my brand new roof that I have a lifetime warranty on, I have to be able to trust them. So,
1,000%.
We can trust you on the back end of things. I trust you with my wife and kids. Like, you came over and I left you alone with them.
I held a baby for like a minute. It scared me, but I did good.
You were very uncomfortable, but you did awesome. Like, I trust you to do that thing. So, I trust you on a personal level. I trust you on a business level. And there's been situations where you could have went a different way and you didn't. And so I know a lot about you and your company and how you guys operate. And that's why I trust you with my clients. So,
man, I really appreciate that, man. And, I think that's something that, the reason as to why I have you do that, and really, I know it's kind of corny and a little bit cheesy, but like, I really do believe it. I believe that every single detach and reset that PV National does is we're cleaning up the industry in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Mm-hmm. A lot of these companies, they're out of business, and if a different roofing contractor were to handle that job, other than Lonestar or any of our other partners. There's a 90% chance they're using that 125 panel a guy from Facebook, and they're voiding all the warranties. The issue is on our end of it is that the guy at $125 a panel does not have enough cash flow.
Yeah, there's no way.
He doesn't have enough cash flow to really service your clients long term, right? They might show a piece of paper that says, "Oh, I got a 10-year warranty on detach and resets," but like, okay. Are you going to be around?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. Brand new roofing companies come in or solar lifetime warranty. I'm like, brother, we got to year 8 and we just now transferred to a lifetime warranty because we know we've far surpassed that. We know we're going to be around. Yep. Like, you can't come in and brand new lifetime warranty or 10-year warranty. It's just crazy to me. But so like I said, we've had no issues with you guys at all. It's
been a ton of fun too. It's been a lot of fun, and I think. The reason, like I said, just to piggyback is that, other roofing contractors out here that maybe even listening to this, don't go into 2026. Like we talk about all the time, control the controllables. You guys have control over who you guys vet out as subs, who you guys are using, how you pay your people. You have control over that stuff. So make smart decisions on who you're partnering with and all your vendors in 2026. And, if you guys are listening and you've never done a detach and reset with us before, like I encourage you to try to do it. And, if you guys haven't looked
come this way,
if you guys haven't looked up, I'm going to put your socials like in the description, and look up Brett, and he's got a really great presence online. He's always you're always shucking and jiving, doing something. And it's always, you get a ton of engagement, bro. Like I've noticed that like a lot of people engage with you, and go see what they're doing, man. They're doing amazing things, and go follow his brother Zach too. And, I expect very, very great things with Lonestar in 2026, and wish you guys all the success in the world and this continued partnership, bro.
Hopefully we're number 1 this year. We'll see.
Let's go. Hey man, thank you so much for being on here. That's it, guys. This will be posted on Monday. We're recording on Wednesday the 5th, so it'll be posted Monday. You guys tune in. We'll see you guys next time.